All right, item number one, what we're gonna do a little leadership, legacy leadership award to be presented to Cheryl Bollinger today when she comes at the regular meeting. Any special committees, we don't have anything on that, okay? Item number one is the ordinance amending chapter 12. We're gonna carry that over. We're still waiting on our legal department to get that document to me before we can move on that. Item number two is a hearing on the proposed ordinance rezoning property located at 4190 Casada Ferry Farm. And it's recommended, go ahead, Tommy.
It's recommended by the planning commission and it was a unanimous vote.
Okay. Anybody got any concerns on item number two?
Did you say we're carrying over one?
Yes, ma'am. All right, item number three, Mr. Tyson.
Same action. It was unanimously approved, recommended.
Okay. Anybody got any issues with number three? 901 South Hull Street. Okay. New business would be item number four is the organization chart coming out of the mayor's office. I think it's adding park and recreation up under, not park and recreation, the museum up under the...
Oh, they're moving the armory.
The armory.
Okay, the armory, yeah. All right. Going to the cultural affairs department, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any concerns, any issues on item number four? Item number five is a resolution de-annexing property located on North Jenkins Lane, establish a new District 8 boundaries. Mr. Pruitt?
Mr. Calhoun, Mr. Mayor, and Stacy, we, on this particular item number 5, we did probably 6 months ago, 8 months ago, Stacy, we denied, or I think we carried it over indefinitely.
You tabled it indefinitely.
We tabled it indefinitely on a piece of property.
Correct.
And Mayor, this council sort of came to the conclusion that as far as all that annexation was going to go, we were done de-annexing and that sort of stuff. And just my opinion, I think it gets us into, and Stacey, you can say if we went and passed this tonight, I think it would cause problems with the one that we, carried over indefinitely. So I'm of the opinion that we carried over, and if there's some sort of deals that you guys want to do with the mayor of Pike Road, if I know there's always talks about Chantilly and that sort of stuff, then we maybe come back and revisit it. But
And I think these individuals are going to be here, but I think that the issue is that they own a piece of property that's not in the city limits.
Right.
And that's where their house is, and then they bought some property behind
did.
them. So you're familiar with it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I talked to her on the phone.
Okay.
And some of them live in some of them live in the city.
Okay.
We actually put a neighborhood sign up out there 6-8 years ago. So, as far as de-annexing, I mean, we've already turned some people down. I just think we should stay that path and just say, hey, if you guys come to a resolution, Mayor, down the road and we want to get rid of some pieces,
Yeah,
if y'all do some things with Home Depot and that sort of stuff, that's fine. But
I was talking about this with Charlie a couple of weeks ago. We did not come back to it. I'm fine carrying it over and having that discussion about,
Okay.
getting
what we'll do is we'll just carry it over indefinitely, and then we'll get with you, and if you guys do some talks and want to figure stuff out down the road, that's fine.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right. Any more discussion on 5? Item number 6 is a resolution adopting, authorizing Mayor Reed to apply for application through HUD. $1.7 million. I think something was in your packet on that also. All right. Any discussion? Get the money, Doc. Okay, item number 7 is we'll have a hearing on the lounge retail liquor license class 1 on Atlanta Highway. I think that would be in Bradley's district. Anybody have any concerns on item number 7?
Actually, I believe it's in Mr. Chinwright's. This is the old Club Ciroc.
Old Club Ciroc?
Yes, sir. I think it's in Mr. Chinwright's, isn't it?
No, that's Charlie.
Yeah, that's Charlie.
No, they renamed it.
We'll talk to him and see what's the will of the council president
Councilman.
on item number 7. Go, yes, ma'am.
We just met with him a little while ago. He'll be here at 5
Okay.
for this rock.
All right. Okay, so we'll talk about item number 7 with the owners of that. My concern on item number 7, before we get there, item number 7, and I think it's item number 11. You know, my concern is we closed those down and now they're coming back before the council. My thing would be, what are they doing different to come back before the council for a license?
So the owners of Ciroc has actually changed ownership. It's not the same individuals that owned it before. It's a completely different entity, different individuals that are running it. So they are going to maintain standards that we expressed to them that was really important in that kind of environment. I think we're going to have a pretty decent relationship with those folks. The same with Empire. We sat down and met with them and their attorney, and we had some things that Empire has agreed to do in order to try and make sure that the facility stays safe with the club stuff. So we can talk about that when we get to that one if you want.
Okay,
And we got a list of all of that.
Ma'am?
And we're gonna have a list of all of those things so we can.
Yes, ma'am, I got them. We'll go over them when we get to that one.
Hey, Chief and Mr. President, the question that I have, I know there was discussion about maybe changing some of the standards with some of the nighttime establishments and things along those lines. Where is the council on that? Is that a work in progress? Is there been anything kind of finalized on that so that we can get, more standards in place and less incidents, I guess?
okay. Go ahead, Mr. Pruitt. Mr. Pruitt got something along these lines.
And I've got something, Mayor, and I've talked to Chief about it numerous times, and he's on board with it. Just, I think the timing was off. One of the issues that I have with the clubs is that we're paying, and we've talked about it before, off-duty officers, $30 for working at a club versus $30 sitting in a Winn-Dixie parking lot. And I don't think that's very fair to the officers for the risk of the venue that they're working at. So I've done up a resolution tonight to at least talk about it. I'd like to see off-duty officers at risk venues, i.e. clubs, making $55 an hour, just because we're asking them to step into the lion's den, if you will. And another thing, Mayor, is I think that you're talking about standards, that we ought to require enough off-duty officers so we don't have to send on-duty through there to check on them. And if we're not requiring enough, then that's something that we need to look at, where we need to require enough off-duty for us to send on-duty through to make a check.
So point taken, my question was really more so about from the ownership in terms of the licenses and things that we were expecting to do. I know the council's had a lot of conversation about those things. I haven't seen those numbers, so I'll get with Chief Betty on that.
Mayor, we're gonna, like I said, we do meet monthly with those club owners. So we will get with legal. We are doing standards and expectations, but I just got to get with legal to make sure what are we, what can we demand or what can we mandate from the owners without having that legal responsibility, and make sure that we're not going out of bounds. So we are working on it. Hopefully we will have it within the next city council meeting. So we can present to legal so we can see, can we, put those in place.
So you're gonna introduce that?
Yeah, do we need to introduce that before we get to these?
We'll do it at the
Mr.
end.
Calhoun? Well, how do we let these clubs know that this is a possibility? That
I guess we'll let them know if we pass the ordinance tonight.
should we put it before then, or should we? I mean, it's up to you, however we need to handle it.
Will ordinance have a start date on it, and effective
It
date?
does, and it can change. I mean,
What's the effective date?
17. And I was gonna pass them out. It's just a resolution, it's not an ordinance.
Oh, okay, oh, that's right, that's right,
Yep.
it's just a resolution, so it is what it is.
I mean, if it's something that we can do with the police department and the mayor and everybody's agreeable, I think we need to let the clubs that at least are getting a license tonight know that this is in the works.
Okay.
Maybe we should just present it tonight and not vote on it tonight, and then make sure we get with WSFA.
Huh?
Is the administration fees going up as well?
That I'm not sure of. I was just concerned about the officers.
Council, y'all need to be talking into your microphones because
I was asking about the administration fees that going up as well as just the officers' pay.
Just in that resolution, Mr. Mitchell, all I had is the officers' pay.
Okay.
And maybe we should present it tonight to start conversation about it and carry it over, and then make sure if we get an opportunity, or I'm sorry, if you get an opportunity, Mr. Pruitt, to talk with WSFA and have that announcement. And we'll have a couple of club owners here also that will be able to just start the conversation, and Mr. Mitchell meet with them. So that's enough notice that if there's some conversation we need to have additional to this, we can have it before we vote on it. I mean, that's just a recommendation. I don't know.
And that's fine. I just don't want us to be in the same boat as we were 6-8 months ago when we were closing down clubs. Right. And we didn't have enough, listen, it is what it is. I mean, we've got to pay these people what they're worth to be at the club. Right. And it needs to be on the ownership of the club to do it.
Okay.
Okay. All right, number 8, application for a retail lounge liquor license on Class 2 package license by Elate Company, on time, 3403 Norman Bridge Road. I think that's going to be you, Mr. McGinnis.
Yes, that is District 7. I received a couple calls
Okay.
this week and would like to talk to them and carry this item over.
Okay. All right, item 9, application for a lounge retail liquor license, Class 2 package store on 7620 Mobile Highway in the Hopewell area.
That should be Busy Ant, not Bus Ant. Busy Ant.
Busy Ant, not
Yes,
Bus
sir.
Ant?
Busy Ant. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with this.
Okay, there'll be a public hearing on that, and we'll address it at the time. Item number 10, that's you also, Mr. Graham.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Okay. We'll have a public hearing on that also. Item number 11 is application for business license and application for special retail more than 30-day liquor license by Maurice Good Empire. We will have a public hearing on that also at that time. Yeah, we just discussed it, so we're fine with that. And 12 through 22 is just appointment from council representatives. We won't go down those one by one. And 24, 25 is some nuisance that we'll handle that at that time. So, yeah, just some appointments. Shouldn't be no problem with those appointments. Councilor Johnson is making a lot of appointments along with Mr. Mitchell. So that's just self-explanatory how we would do that. And that's it. Item 27 is just some nuisance. We'll vote on that at that time. Anything else?
I do. I have one extra appointment that I'm going to present to everybody. I got one on here, but I have one that I need to do as well. And that's it. That's all I have.
You say that again? I didn't hear you.
I have an appointment.
Okay, all right. We'll handle the appointments at that time. You bring it up from the floor. All right. Ms. Attorney?
I'd like to request that we go into executive session.
Okay.
Before we do that, we've got an ordinance before us, a request I want to bring before the council about us opting out of the fireworks. It's State Bill, what is it, 55, Chief? About us opting out of the, not allowing fireworks in the city. Chief and I we're on the same page in terms of our approach to it. I just want to get feedback from the council so you all can hear it and weigh any opposing thoughts on it, if there are any. Go ahead, Chief.
Good afternoon. So we have always had an ordinance that you can't shoot or sell fireworks in the city limit. Been on the books for as long as I can remember. TNT has been lobbying the state to change that, where they'll be able to sell fireworks in places like the city of Montgomery and some other larger cities. And so recently the governor signed State Bill 55 allowing TNT to sell fireworks where city would basically allow them. So they give cities like Montgomery the opportunity to either opt in to allow TNT to sell in Montgomery or opt out, which allow us to keep our current ordinance, which is not to sell and shoot fireworks in the city of Montgomery. And so our recommendation to the mayor and to the legal is to opt out. And so that's kind of where we are right now.
Do we have a copy of what the governor signed?
Yes,
Is
copy
that the
of it.
only one? We'll take it, we going in a session and make some, if it's okay, I like to.
I can
look it
email
over.
you a copy if you'd like. It basically is just setting regulations that say if you're going to allow them to sell within the city limits, what regulations have to be in place, that kind of thing. And then once it sets those regulations, it says, but municipalities, if you want to opt out, you don't have to allow them to sell in the city. Basically, what you have to do is just notify the state fire marshal that you're opting out of applying that law in your city. But I'm more than happy to email you a copy of the Senate
I'm
bill.
gonna make a copy of his today, if that's all right.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's not about sales, it's about safety with us, because fireworks count for about 35-40%, if I'm not mistaken, of injuries that occur during 4th of July and all the other holidays that you have these sparklers and all these things. And so it's kind of a little scary for the fire world to know that a bill would allow people to buy and shoot fireworks in the city. So it poses a safety issue for us, and I know it's going to pose a nightmare for the police department as well.
Chief, go ahead. I got a question. We opting out
Yes.
to allow the sale of fireworks within the city limits.
The term opting out is basically saying that we want to keep our ordinance
Okay,
as it is,
okay.
which is not allowed.
So my question would be the enforcement of the fireworks that's being shot within the city. Whether they purchase in the city or not, you know, where we're gonna be on the enforcement part. Because we know, I mean, be real, we can opt out the sale of the fireworks, but people gonna get them and they gonna pop them.
Well, right now, we're having those issues, and that falls on Chief Finley side of the house.
Okay.
And sometimes with us, when we find these sparklers and things like that at nightclubs and things
Okay.
like that. But having this ordinance on the book allow us to have some teeth
Okay,
in it.
I'm fine with it. Just the enforcement part.
Yes, sir.
You got your hand up? Okay, we good. I'm good with it. Any questions on it?
Yeah,
All right,
I wanna
we
get a
back.
copy of that.
Can you get Councilman Graham a copy?
Yes.
Who we going to the executive session at? Who's going to the executive session?
So what?
He's got to do a whole keep jumping through.
I need the reason
and
you're
it-
going into
we-
executive session.
I need a motion to go into
Well, I
executive.
She said she
I
need
need
a
a
reason.
The
I
reason?
need a reason first.
Thank you.
Okay. Brenda, it's potential litigation, 3625A7A3.
7A3. And it complies with the code. Now we need a motion to go into executive session.
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand.
What if I raise my hand? What do you mean? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're gonna meet in the old council chambers, so,
Unanimous.
all right? So we'll adjourn the work session and not to reconvene, and council meeting will be at 5 o'clock today.